They say it takes a village to raise a child. At Voice of the Streets, we've tried to be that village for almost a decade now.
At Voice to the Street, we work with street children to empower them using quality education as our tool. One of the most important things that we do is that we pull the children out of the streets and we enroll them into educational institutions, whether formal educational institution, informal educational institution, or vocational and entrepreneurial educational institutions.
In 2025, 4 young people graduated, 2 from secondary school and 2 from the university. Once upon a time, none of them felt that would be possible. But possibility has a way of growing when someone believes in you. Before a child enters the classroom, there is a whole system behind the scene.
We designed like a system where we match kids with foster carers. The kids, we call them foster care kids. Not in the sense of foster care that we know in today's system. It's just a term like of endearment, should I say, where sponsors actually look after the kids, and that's why we're calling them foster kids and foster parents. Or foster carer rather.
The foster care project is one of 6 existing projects that we have within the Voice to the Streets bracket. And out of the 6 projects, we have the VTS annual project, which we do every year. The VTS educational project, which is just to take street children off the streets and enroll them into formal and informal educational institutions. We also have the entrepreneurship project, which is a project where we train street children on vocational skills like bag making, clothes making, fashion designing, and things like that. And we also train them to be good entrepreneurs. In a sense, we also give them seed funding for them to start their businesses. We also have the VTS campaign project, which is a project where we draw the eyes of the public to the plight of street children by running advocacy programs, doing street march. We can do either offline campaign, online campaign. And then we have the street tech project, which is a project where we transfer tech skills to street children. The last project will be the VTS foster care project, which is what we are discussing today. And it is a project where we match street children with sponsors that we call foster carers. Now, it starts with a selection process where both the foster care parent and beneficiary will go through a selection process. So we do have a database of sponsors that have indicated that they want to take responsibility over a beneficiary. It's really important that I state that we do not just take care, under the foster care system, we do not just take care of the educational needs of the child. We take care of the educational needs, the legal needs, the psychological needs, the emotional needs, the health needs, any need that a street child would have at the point where we take on responsibility of the child is what we document as the need of that child. After the selection process, we have the verification process where both the foster carer and the beneficiary will go through a verification process. And during this process, we make sure that all information that is presented is true. So we verify the information that we are given. We have the documentation process, which comes immediately after the verification process, which is a process where we confirm and we verify that the sponsor and the beneficiary will be added to our sponsors and beneficiary database respectively. We will then request certain documents for the documentation process, legal documents to ensure that they are indeed legal, not illegal, and things like that. The next process is the matching process, and this is the process where we match a child with a sponsor. And it's a very interesting process because we match them based on the peculiarities of the need. So remember that our sponsors will tell us what exactly they would like to sponsor in a child. So we've had people in the past come and say that they want to sponsor the legal needs of a child. If we have within our database a sponsor that says that I want to take care of the legal need of a child, we then match that child with the sponsor. If it's a sponsor that that wants to take care of the educational needs of a child, we match a child that has an educational need with that sponsor. That's what the matching process is all about. And the next process is the introduction process. It is the process where the VTS administrative team would organize an introductory meeting or an introductory session between the child and the foster carer, or between the legal guardian of the child, or between the school, the legal guardian of the child, and with the foster carer. During this session, expectations are aired out. This is what I want, this is what I have, and things like that. And we get to introduce them together and we kickstart the project. It's important that we also state that the VTS administrative team is strictly in charge of all communications between our sponsors and our beneficiary. So the team will set up a series of meetings to confirm the compatibility and level the interest and the expectations within the project. Our foster care project is not an adoption process. Hence, our foster carers are not legally responsible for the children. The sponsor will only be responsible for the amount of care that they guarantee to give and within the time frame that they choose to work with.
My name is Ejo Victoria, and I'm a student of Adekunle Ajasin University, now a graduate of Adekunle Ajasin University. And I lived in Ogun State with my parents before coming in contact with VTS. Before meeting VTS, I had given up on going to school. Then it was actually tough and there was no one to sponsor and there was no financial capacity.
But tough beginnings don't define the ending. They simply add strength to the journey.
Growing up was a mixture of toughness and a lot of things. Yes, I think I used to tell people that I belong to one of the loveliest family. If I'm to choose my family, I'll probably choose my family again because there was love, there was that support from my parents. My family was very, very unique and sweet. But it just just like the financial aspect of it was the only issue. So growing up for me was kind of tough because there are sometimes that we couldn't afford to do some things, the food we eat, the clothes I wore. I remember there was a particular time in my life where somebody actually embarrassed me publicly that, oh, Victoria, is this the only skirts that you have? Don't you have any other skirts? Because then the skirt was actually wash and wear. I would wash it and wear it. There was even times that if rain was falling, maybe it's coming from the ceiling, we would just sit down and cry because we were like, what else do we want to do? So it was that tough at that time.
As the saying goes, smooth seas don't make skillful sailors.
Victoria Ojo reached out to us July 2020, and I like to see it like a call for help because her message had in it seeking for advice and then asking for help. And she told us that she had already written her JAMB. And she had a really good score. She had a score of 222. And her aspiration was to go to the university and study education and biology. That's how we met her.
I didn't really know it was actually a foundation. Some few days or maybe weeks later, she got on a video call with me with few other people. I think those from the foundation. I think that was when I got to know that it was actually a foundation and she was not the only one doing it alone. So I felt great that this help was coming.
I remember immediately after we read her email, we reached out to her immediately and we asked for a meeting. Upon speaking with her, we were able to digest the gravity of the situation that she was presenting to us, and immediately we worked to facilitate help. And at the time, immediately after JAM, you have to write your post-UTME. And so we facilitated funds for her. We spoke to about 3 ladies at the time that were buoyant enough to take on the responsibility, and they did graciously. And we were able to pay for the post-UTME fees. We also paid for, immediately after the post-UTME, she got in. She's a really bright lady. She got in, and then we paid for the acceptance fee.
So my first day in school was a mixture of different feeling. I was excited.
Her first year in school was really interesting, and aside that, she also brought home a really wonderful result. So we knew that she was a very bright student, and the money that we were spending on her was yielding profit. So it was really interesting for us.
Truth be told, university is a lot different from secondary school. Although secondary school prepares you for the life in university.
In 2022, we enrolled her into the VTS foster care system. And the first thing we did was to match her with a foster carer, a very gracious, wonderful young man at the time, and still wonderful now. The first thing we did was to send an introductory email, and we did have a good relationship with the foster carer, so we also facilitated phone calls and several meetings. We introduced the foster care child, we introduced Victoria to the foster carer, and after that, we usually will send an inquiry form. And this form is just to take down the personal information of the foster carer that is necessary for the project. So it doesn't intrude on their privacy, and their data is very protected. We then send the foster carer the questions to understand what the foster carer wants in terms of, are you going to be able to take care of this child? For how long will you be able to take care of the child? How much will you be able to deposit for the taking care of the child? And how often, or what's the payment plan that you would like to take on? So we accept installment payment. We have foster carers that pay every month, which is beautiful. We have some foster carers that pay just once a year. We have foster carers that pay twice a year. So you would have the liberty to arrange your payment plan with the organization. After that, we sent the story of the child to the foster carer to get a good image or picture about the responsibility that he's getting into. And I can remember at the time he did say that, oh, she's a very bright girl, because we had sent the 100 level result to him, and it was indeed a really bright result.
Behind every success is someone who chose to help. Not because they had to, but because they believed one child's education can change everything.
Within the project, we have been blessed with almost 15 foster carers since the project started in 2021. And one of our amazing sponsors is a person that we call Michael Billions.
I come from a lineage whereby we are used to the little we have, we're used to sharing. All right. Not necessarily that you have to have a whole lot, but your neighbor needs a helping hand. Definitely, you just gotta help out. So my move to join the VTS foster care project was born out of the self drive for humanity.
The time I felt happy about my schoolwork, like about being in school, was when I did my practicum. Like the fact that I could actually walk up to a patient in the ward, like through the health center where we were. Like it gave me this kind of confidence. I was talking to the patient and the patient was replying to me. So I felt very, very happy. Like it made me feel like a doctor that I'm not, but still we used to call that education preventive medicine. So I'm not like a doctor.
At the end of the day, everybody wants a a great ending to everything. When we started supporting, right, it's all because of we want to see her finish not just finish poor. All right. And one thing that we tried to instill, one value we tried to instill in the project when we started was that, constant progress. Her school progress as she goes on level by level. Those are the things we made sure that we monitor back then. And also, as she was going higher in levels and definitely our results were satisfactory. Normally it's ideal for you to feel the urge to keep on supporting and make sure that she doesn't just finish, she finishes well.
I love university because of the freedom it gives. It makes you really want to think. And you know that any actions that you take, you bear the consequences by yourself. So for me, I'm happy because I came to university. It made me grow in a lot of way that I felt like if I was in my parents' house, I wouldn't have had that level of growth. I've learned, I've unlearned, and I've relearned. And I'm grateful I was given the opportunity to experience that.
So, aside the school fees, it's also very important for us that our foster care children are fitting really comfortably within the school environment. So, we always have counseling sessions with them where we ask them questions like, how is school going? Are you having any problems? Do you face any challenges so far? And things like that. So the feedback we get from the child, we immediately spring into action, and we contact the school to try to tackle the challenges that they're facing, or we contact the legal guardian if it's a thing about, oh, they need to eat to be able to learn. We've had instances where we went back to the foster carer and we're like, this is what is happening to your child, and we try to look for a solution together. So there have been times where our foster carers will say, oh, I'll add a little more money for the child to always have lunch in school every day, or would say, oh, the result is not so good, I'll add a little extra so that you can enroll the child into extra lessons for maybe mathematics class, for English class, and things like that. In the case of Victoria, we have had to step in for her for things like, oh, they have extracurricular activities like swimming classes. We check within the purse, or we contact the foster carer. We need more funds for this, for that. We've also had to, in her case, there was a time we had to step up to get the stethoscope, the lab requirements, like the medical lab requirements, the lab codes, and that I think that doctors wear the thermometer and things like that. We had to get them for. So on and on, Victoria went from 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level, and it fills my heart to say that Victoria graduated. We are so happy and we are so proud of her.
And I'm really glad. I saw a video of where she when she was celebrating her project and all of that. It's really heartwarming, and I believe every human will feel such a way that your product is succeeding. So that's it. Yeah.
I felt a lot of excitement. Like at some point when I was reading overnight, I cried because I'm like, is this me? Like it felt like a dream because I was that girl who never thought I was going to go to school. And immediately I finished writing that last paper, I felt this sense of achievement within me, like, yes, finally I did it.
I wasn't just impressed. I was really happy because, it's a different thing, giving someone hope, right? And there's a different thing also fulfilling the hope that you've promised the person. So, it's just really a heartwarming moment, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm now a graduate, and it's like a reality that I need to sit down with. And I've heard people talk about life after school, life after school. Well, life after school has started already, and I believe I'm going to maximize and utilize every part of it.
Well, this year alone, we are graduating about four of our children, two from the universities and two from secondary school into the university. We're super proud of that. Okay, so what happens at the end of the university level? So I'll use Victoria as an example. What we do is we have a meeting with them where we welcome them. We welcome them to the alumni network, the VTS alumni graduate network, and we congratulate them for a very wonderful milestone. We celebrate them, we acknowledge them, their journey with VTS. After we talk about life after graduation, it's important that we induct them into what happens after graduation. We ask them what their immediate plans and aspirations are.
I love to write and I know how to write. So writing, probably choosing the copywriting aspect of writing and then content writing. I just want to do writing for the meantime. So I have other interests that I want to, explore.
And we also worked on identifying any challenges or concerns that she currently is facing that would be an hindrance to our future strides. After that, we always tell them the opportunities within VTS because we are not letting our people just, be stranded. We talked about the mentorship support. We talked about the career development plan. So for the mentorship support, we talked about assigning her with mentors that will guide her professionally and personally. For her career development, we talked about guiding her on CV writing, having CV writing workshops with her, having career guidance sessions with her. We also introduced the internship opportunity within Voice to the Street for skill building. Aside that, we also have the alumni network. We introduced the alumni network to her. We told her about how we would help her in leveraging LinkedIn for professional growth and for connections. And Voice of the Street would also assist her to be able to access trainings and skill development programs and platforms. At the end of the meeting, we talked about the mutual responsibilities that we owe each other. So, for instance, VTS would we owe her mentorship and career guidance. We owe her alumni network opportunities. We owe her access to VTS organized capacity building programs and trainings, support in navigating graduate life and things like that. And for Victoria, she also has availability for check-ins and updates because, like I said, we're not leaving our children to hang dry just because you have graduated. We want to follow up with you and make sure that you make good strides. Participation in VTS events and alumni meetings, serving as mentors and role models to our other children, our younger children within VTS that have seen you thrive within the space, sharing her story, her testimonials to be able to encourage the children that we still have within the system.
So that child living on my streets that has a lot of potentials but feels like there is no support from anywhere, I would love to tell that child that just learn to speak up. Learn to open up to people what you are going through. Learn to open up about what you want and also learn to reach out to people.
She wants to give back, to teach, and to help other children rise.
I want to be that big sister for any child who wants to go into the university that needs my advice. Okay, how should I do this? What should I do? Yeah, I want to be there because at least I now have the experience. And I also want to support in any way that I can. Yes, and I have it at the back of my mind that I'm going to support. If it's to volunteer to reach out to students, more like an outreach. If it's to volunteer to reach out to students who need this kind of help, to bring them into VTS, for them to be helped as well, I'm ready to do that. So yes, I'm ready to do a lot of things within my capacity to help every child like me that wants to actually go through school and actualize this dream of becoming a graduate of university.
For us, the ripple effect is really important to us. And we wish her well. We wish her all the best.
First of all, to the team, I'm really impressed. The level of coordination. Uh, the level of coordination is really amazing. We are supporting from the back end, but I'm really amazed and impressed with the team. It's not just with Victoria. It's not just how they've been able to coordinate Victoria. I mean, other people in their care, and also the checkup and the constant monitoring. Checking their school progress, checking their livelihood in school as well. I'm really impressed, and I say, may God bless you all. And for Victoria, what the only thing I can say is I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. We haven't left you. We are still supporting at the back end. As time goes by, we'll be also be checking up and knowing how you're progressing with life in general. Because right now you are moving to the labor market, right? So my honest and sincere advice is you should hold God. Very important. Hold God in high esteem, and God will not fail you.
Sincerely, I wish that I could see them face to face to give them the biggest hug in the world. I'm very, very grateful, and I know my words or my appreciation or my gratitude are not enough to actually, appreciate you at all for what you did. But deep down in my heart, for making this dream a reality of being a graduate today, I'm really, really grateful to you and to your heart. And I pray that because you've done this for me, this is just the start of something great that God is going to be doing in return for you. You would reap it in many fold. Like, things will just work out for you. When you need one people, thousands of people will come through for you, because I was at that point in my life where all I needed was just help, and you all came through for me. So I want to say thank you so much, and God bless you.
There is a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And at Voice to the Street, that is exactly what we are doing. We are going far, not just with one child, but several children at a time. 4 graduates this year, several lives impacted, and countless more dreams waiting in line for their turn. If you have supported us, thank you.
To be very honest, not all the time. It's not convenient all the time, right? Because you're actually using your personal resources to finance another individuals or a group of individuals, right? So what I would say is that just do what you can do. Help. If you have the resources to help. Don't hold back. Understand? So just as long as it's towards humanity, yes, it's just keep helping. If you have the resources, if you have the power, if you have the wherewithal to help a soul, give a soul like another, look at this lady now. She can raise her head up in the society. Now she can go and look for a job. She can explore. She can, go to another level in life. So, this is something that she didn't see coming, but, as God will have it. So, if you're in that position that God wants to use you to be a source of inspiration or a source of hope to another individual, sure, don't hold back. Yeah, that's why we are in this world. You understand? When we pray for destiny helpers, it's not God that will come down and be your own destiny helper. He will use men on earth that he has empowered to help. So as long as you've had that, or as long as God has placed you in such position, I believe just help out, and God will keep on blessing for sure.
If you'd love to support, there's room for you. And if all you can do is to share our story, please go ahead. That helps more than you know. Changing the world is tough business, but it is a lot easier when we do it together.